Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're kind of gonna revisit an old case that has popped up yet again, and because the depression is strong today, we're gonna kind of laugh at the ridiculousness of this case. So a while back I posted this video talking about this woman called Martina Big. She went viral for essentially being trans race, which is a concept I don't believe in, but she decided to change from her old white self to a new black self. So she used to be a white model and she got these injections and now she is black. So at the time she said she wanted to move to Africa to be with her people. Now, before I really get into this, there are two things we need to know. One, yes, she's allowed to do this, but like everything online, if it's posted online, it's open to critique, so that's what's gonna happen here. Two, in the words of Noel Miller,
most of us cannot afford to be this delusional.
So here we have an article that says 30-year-old Martina Big and her husband Michael, 31, used tanning injections called melanotan, which darkens the skin. Big, who has had a number of operations to give her 30S boobs. Now let me just pause there. Do you know how big 30S is? Because I can't even conceptualize. Like, double D's are big enough. F's, like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I cannot conceptualize seeing a woman here with a 30S chest. What? She said that she's looking for a home in Kenya where she hopes to raise a family. Big, who had a baptism and changed her name to Malaika Kubwa, meaning big angel in Swahili, told The Sun, "I not only look like an African woman, I also feel that I'm now an African woman. I spent time in Kenya last year and felt so at home. Now I have a lot of invitations from all over Africa." You can identify with other cultures. That's entirely fine. There's no law against that. What I think is absolutely ridiculous, and this is what I feel about people who go to India to find themselves, it's like, yeah, you can go to India, you can have a spiritual fucking experience, but some people bring it to this new level where they feel like they actually grew up in this culture and fully know the culture. Now, experiencing a culture for 2 weeks is not the same as growing up in a culture and having all your family and all the cultural norms apply to you, right? We can discern that difference. So that's one of the big parts that I find ridiculous here, is that she really feels like she knows shit as much as people who have grown up in Kenya, which I don't think is a reach to say no, that's not accurate. And also, the way in which you experience a culture as a tourist is very different than actually living there. So I'm just gonna leave that there. So then on Facebook, she'd spoken about her desire to have kids, which she would like to raise in Africa. She wrote, "I want to learn about the black culture first, so I can educate my future children in black. Teach the black culture." Okay. She also reckons that since taking the injections, her eye color and hair have changed, but adds, "It is a change that is inside as well as out. These changes are not superficial, but deep inside me." I don't have a problem with people changing themselves, right? Like, if you feel that you identify as whatever, you know, do that. The thing that bothers me about this is that anyone who does like trans ethnic, trans race type shit is kind of making a mockery about being actually trans, because being actually trans has scientific information to back up that your brain identifies with the gender, the opposite gender, or another gender, whatever you want to call it. But someone like this who's just like, oh, I feel like I relate to, say, Kenyan culture, and then they have to go through all this shit to relate. I'm like, you can relate without changing everything. Now, like I said, you're free to change whatever, but you can also just relate. Big was hit with massive backlash earlier this year when she appeared on This Morning and told hosts Holly Willoughby and John Barrowman that she had managed to change race thanks to injections, and that she expected her future children to be black or mixed race despite her and her husband being born white. She said, "My children will be black. We are not having plans, but I'm discussing with my doctor to see if my body is okay. Will I be able to breastfeed? What the baby will look like." I have to say, if I were her, I'd be scared to have a child on 2 counts. We don't know what these fucking injections do. Like, I don't know how much these injections have been tested, but I can't imagine that they've had years upon years of research of these injections. To me, they sound extremely black market type bullshit. So the second thing is, when you have 30S breasts, I I don't know, because it's not like a regular breast augmentation that's within the scope of the normal. Like, I don't even know which specific surgeon would agree to go to 30S, because I've seen a bunch of TLC type shit where people are doing all this type of surgery, and it's hard to find a surgeon who's willing to kind of risk their career, because if she died on the table, that fucks up the surgeon's career. And why would the baby be black also? If these are just injections, I don't know why she'd expect the baby to be black. The only way in my mind where this baby will be black is if she has sex with a black guy, she might have a mixed race baby. The delusion. I feel like I'm sinking into just like an abyss of things that I don't understand, and I don't know. I don't feel like this is a good thing. This is not a good thing. I don't know why I'm even doing this in the morning. I already feel weird, and now reading this, it's funny because when I look in the viewfinder, I just feel like I look like a blue Hagrid right now. So a shocked Holly replied, "I'm trying to think genetically, how is that possible? Like any normal person would say. If you give birth to a white child, will you somehow think it's not connected to you?" Big responded, "No, it's a mix of Michael and me. I'm pretty sure it will be black or milk chocolate or a little bit light. It doesn't matter." But viewers were left fuming with Big, with one tweeting, "Martina Big infuriates me. As a white woman, she's had more privilege in her years as a white woman than any black woman will get in their lifetime." While another commented, "Martina Big annoys me. She wants to be a black woman. She never will be, regardless of her skin color. It's just blackface." Now, this is where this topic gets a little spicy, because apart from the ridiculousness of trying to become another race, I think that what Martina Big is doing here is the equivalent of getting boob implants and then saying that your boob implants are your natural boobs. You've made this surgical change, and that's fine. You're allowed to do whatever you want with your body, but you need to realize that that surgical change is still surgical. Just because you've had it for a while now doesn't mean that automatically this is natural. Your 30S boobs will forever be a surgical change. They will never be your natural boobs. In the same way, just because you got these injections to be black, that does not make you naturally black. That's really another facet of this. Is this escapism at the maximum?
Whatever you call it, I am running away from my responsibilities. Well, it feels good.
You know how when women, me included, have horrible mental situations, they like cut their hair, dye it red, things I've done in the near past, and they do that to kind of escape some kind of emotional turmoil, right? I'm wondering, is this like the next level? And I'm not even saying that to be funny. I'm saying, is this someone who wants to escape from their identity so much that they want to even change color of their skin? Is that what's happening here? Because I genuinely feel like there is a very big part of this that isn't even for the outrage, but is for escapism's sake. Because imagine this, you're changing your chest to such a huge augmentation that you don't even look like you anymore. You're changing your skin color, and then also your hair texture apparently changed. Your eyes changed color. Your fashion is different. And you want to change country. That's 6 things that are straying entirely from your identity. And on top of that, she's saying how like her insides have changed to match her black outside, which I'm not even sure what that means according to her. Doesn't that seem like the ultimate way to get away from a life you've built for yourself? Doesn't that seem like the most extreme thing you could do to run away from whoever Martina Big was before? I don't know. To me, it seems like this is routed in escapism, and I'm not a psychologist. I don't know. These are just my theories based on what we have and what we see. I just feel like there's a delusion here that's so deep that I can barely understand what she thinks is real and what she thinks is fake, and how much of this is even done just for the sake of outrage. Because when I saw the video, and there's a video on this morning, I'll link that down below so I don't get like copyrighted, but it just really seems like she believes it, which is even more concerning, because if she were just trolling, at least I would know, okay, she has some connection to reality. But here, even this obsession with having a darker baby, even if she said, oh, I don't know, I think it'll probably be black, if not light skin, but it doesn't matter. And I'm like, if it doesn't matter, why are you so focused on what color it's gonna be? And why are you kind of hoping it's gonna be black? I mean, it just seems like a strange fixation. There's nothing wrong with having a white child, a black child, whatever. But it gets strange when you are so focused on what it's going to be. Like, it's your child. It shouldn't be a contest of making a trophy child. There are racial implications, and what I wonder is whether she has even considered any of them, because it just seems like she really hasn't. Like, to me, it seems like all of this was cosmetic and kind of pop culture based. And when I say that, it's that when she speaks of this black culture, I don't even know what she's referring to, because there's such a thing of black culture, of course, and then there's such a thing as what she's doing, where it seems like she's just picking aesthetic things of the black culture and then saying that that's the entire culture for her. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think she's thinking about black cultural practices. I think she's thinking about convenient and beautiful parts of black culture, and she's just taking that and leaving aside anything else that just doesn't seem to suit her. Kind of like when people just take a couple verses of the Bible and ignore everything else. It's just kind of like, you can't just take what suits you best and pretend the rest doesn't exist, because a culture has a lot of different facets. Every culture has pros and cons, but I think it's ridiculous to say you want to raise your child in a culture and then just show yourself as selecting what you deem as most attractive and just leaving the rest by the wayside. This mental gymnastics just like tires my brain out. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all this. Let me know your opinions in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.